Haberler.com'dan merhaba, ben Esra Öztürk. Maalesef bugün tatsız bir gündemi konuşacağız. Türkiye'deki yangınlar, orman yangınları aynı anda pek çok farklı noktada söndürülen yangınlarla birlikte yaklaşık 110 yangından söz ediyoruz. Bu hem bir taraftan söndürme çalışmaları devam ediyor, insani yardım devam ediyor. Bölgede Kızılay, AFAD koordinasyon içerisinde hareket ediyorlar. Bir taraftan da sosyal medyada başka bir yardım kampanyası düzenlendi. Ancak tartışmalı bir yardım kampanyası oldu. Bir yardım çağrısı oldu daha doğrusu. Help Turkey, Türkiye'ye yardım edin etiketiyle geçtiğimiz günlerde çok hızlı bir şekilde trending topic olan, Twitter'da gündem olan, küresel listeye giren bir kampanya başlatıldı. Gazeteciler, siyasetçiler, sosyal medya fenomenleri, pek çok kişi bu kampanyaya katıldı. Kampanya şunu söylüyordu: Türkiye'de pek çok farklı noktada orman yangınları var. Söndürmekte güçlük çekiyoruz. Yeterli helikopterimiz, uçağımız yok. Lütfen Türkiye'ye destek olun diye küresel yardım çağrısı yapıldı. Ancak kısa bir süre sonra bu yardım çağrısına ilişkin eleştiriler de beraberinde gelmeye başladı. Bunun Türkiye'nin imajını küresel anlamda olumsuz etkilediğini söyleyen önemli bir kesim oldu. İktidar partisi bu kampanyaya karşı çıktı. Aynı şekilde bazı gazeteciler, influencerlar da bunun doğru olmadığını söylediler. Destek olmayanlar arasında sanatçılar, şarkıcılar da vardı. Nilüfer bunlardan biriydi. Maalesef bir lince maruz kaldığını da gördük. Help Turkey kampanyası ile ilgili tartışmalar sürerken Katar Hamad bin Halife Üniversitesi'nden bir araştırmacı akademisyen, doçent doktor Marc Owen Jones bir araştırma yaptı. Ve araştırmasında 2,7 milyon Help Turkey etiketine atılan tweet sayısı ve bu tweetlerden önemli bir kısmını incelediğini, pek çok tweetin fake hesaplardan, bot hesaplardan atıldığını, hesap isimlerinin daha sonra değiştirildiğini, tweetlerin silindiğini ve bunun farklı bir dijital kampanya ürünü olabileceğini düşündüğünü bir zincir halinde kendi sosyal medya hesabında paylaştı. Ardından bu epey ilgi çekti bu çalışma. Çünkü gerek İletişim Başkanlığı, Stratejik İletişim Daire Başkanlığı tarafından, gerekse gazeteciler tarafından bu konuya ilgi gösteren sosyal medya fenomenleri tarafından bu kez de bu zincir paylaşılmaya başlandı. Ve buna karşın, bununla birlikte diyelim, Strong Turkey etiketiyle farklı bir kampanya daha başlatıldı. Türkiye güçlüdür dendi ve Help Turkey kampanyasının bir kara propaganda olduğu ifade edildi. Bu kadar tartışılmışken biz de doçent doktor Marc Owen Jones'u konuk ettik. Professor Marc Owen Jones, thank you for joining me from Qatar.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you for your time. Let's start with what did you find out mainly in in your researches regarding Help Turkey tag?
I found out that on the hashtag Help Turkey, that while there was a lot of genuine accounts using this hashtag, I also found that there was a lot of manipulation by suspicious-looking accounts that were obviously trying to boost this hashtag, which would probably explain why it reached over 2.7 million tweets, which is a lot.
Okay, in these 2.7 million tweets, you recognize that some of them are created from bot accounts, let's so to say fake accounts. Could you examine from which Twitter account the campaign, the hashtag, was first initiated?
We can't be clear exactly where the campaign came from. We can't even be sure if it started on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. What we do know, though, on Twitter, that the campaign was taken up by a lot of real people, including a lot of celebrities. This would have helped it trend, of course. An interesting question about such campaigns is we don't always know when the manipulation takes place. We don't know if it starts with manipulation and then is picked up by real people to become organic and natural, or sometimes outside forces or other people can then jump onto an existing hashtag that's legitimate and then amplify a particular message. These questions we often don't know because one of the issues we have, and one of the problems we saw on this hashtag, for example, is that the suspicious accounts often delete their tweets or change the name of their account. This makes it hard to trace them, but it also makes it hard when gathering data to get a true picture of where and when and who started a particular trend.
Okay, so what should people do in such campaigns? Because you say that some real accounts and influencers were also writing on this hashtag. So what is the clues that we can understand whether a hashtag campaign is real or manipulative?
I think it's difficult to tell because there's a large spectrum of what constitutes manipulation and disinformation. This is why sometimes social media companies use terms like influence campaigns, because an influence campaign doesn't necessarily have to be manipulated. An influence campaign is a campaign designed to change someone's opinion on something. So that could be a legitimate cause, for example. But what I would watch out for is, one thing, spam-like activity. What we saw a lot of on this trend was people copy and pasting tweets, either in the English language or other language like Italian, German, Japanese, copy and pasting identical tweets that were clearly designed to try to get this message to as large an audience as possible. I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong with that, but at the same time, this probably does violate Twitter's policy of spam-like behavior, and also it also undermines the integrity of the conversational potential of Twitter, because when it comes to any event, particularly politics, it's more useful to actually have discussions and debates about issues rather than just repeating messages over and over again. So I would say this is that the best thing that people can do when they are reading information online, especially if they don't know the source or the origin, is to actually not just repeat, copy, paste, or retweet a message without understanding, firstly, who's behind that account, and firstly, what the message or what the issue at stake is. This is what I think is one of the problems with such trends. And there's always an issue now, we see this in the region, is who is actually initiating these trends anyway? Are they organic? Or are, for example, companies like digital marketing companies leading these campaigns? And if so, who are their clients? One of the issues is we don't know exactly who is behind these campaigns. And so when we boost these messages, we could be boosting a message created by or paid for some entity to actually promote. So we do need to be mindful of that. Be suspicious of trending topics. That's always a good rule.
Okay, so tell me if I understand it correctly. If there are a lot of typical identical tweets and translation in different languages, you say from Italian, from Japanese, Turkish, English, and German, so it is like, it looks like an organization. Is that right? Do you
Yes,
say that
correct.
It could be a digital marketing campaign?
Yeah, I would say that it's most likely to be a digital marketing company because it's a very well organized operation where people are clearly trying to create a message that's designed for a large audience in a manner that's designed to be comprehensible to ordinary people. So the identical tweets, some of them had the different flags for each country, like Italy, Germany, Japan, and then the translation along with those tweets. So there is a sort of formulaic element to this, and a kind of slickness that would suggest maybe someone with marketing skills involved. And also, at the end of the day, what we see with manipulation on social media, most of the perpetrators will not directly be political parties or governments or sinister actors. Because if they did want to engage in that behavior, they would probably enlist a third party, such as a digital marketing company. So at the end of the day, a lot of the proximate cause of a lot of these campaigns is probably some digital marketing experts, not necessarily directly to a government. But I think in this case, there was probably a mixture of elements, but I wouldn't be surprised if a public relations company or a digital marketing company was one of those involved. I think maybe those politically more savvy might have understood this in a way that suggested that this was a way to kind of suggest that the government was weak. In this case, I think it's impossible to determine what the celebrities personally thought. Maybe they were acting in good faith, and maybe some have political opinions of their own. I don't think we can generalize about that. I think what is important to know generally, and I'm not talking specifically about this case, is that we live in a world now where traditional media is not necessarily the most effective way of getting messages across. To get messages across, you target influencers or gatekeepers who then pass on the message to the audience. So what I think we need is greater transparency around influencers and what they promote. because, you know, for all we know, an influencer could be being approached by some entity to spread a particular message. This does happen, it happens in the Gulf, but it's very hard to know when that's happening because there's no transparency around it.
I would remind...
And to be clear, I'm not saying that's what happened in this case, I'm saying this does happen and we don't know if it's happening.
That's a possibility, you say. So I would add to that, because some of the influencers and our singers, celebrities, let's say, were bullied because they were not into this, they were not in favor of this Help Turkey campaign. So that brings a question mark. Tell us, how many tweets in total did you examine for this study? Because that's a lot of data. It's 2.7 million tweets.
Yeah, so there was approximately 2.7 million tweets. I analyzed around 400,000, which is a large sample.
400,000?
About 400,000.
How long did it take?
Well, to download that data, it took maybe 8 hours. But the problem is when you have that much data, it puts a lot of demand on your hardware systems. So to manipulate it, and when I say manipulate, I mean to explore the data, to analyze the data, it takes a lot of computing power and takes a lot of time. It's much slower. So sometimes you can take samples from that, but 400,000 is a substantial chunk. What this means is that we don't necessarily know the scale or the full scale of the potential manipulation. And we also don't know how many of those 2.7 million tweets were deleted before analysts like myself are able to actually obtain them. There's been studies done by other people, including at a university in Switzerland, about Turkish Twitter. And they have found that this tactic is actually very common, where trends are generated and then tweets are deleted. And it makes analysis quite tricky. You have to be as fast as possible when it comes to downloading the data.
What was the location of the first tweets? Did you check for that?
Yeah, you usually in such operations, it's impossible to get any accurate data about the first activity of these accounts
because it's tweeted and deleted afterwards.
Yes, in some cases it's tweeted. So, for example, let's say that I found the first tweet on a hashtag and it had a location and it was clear to determine who that was. I don't know if that's the first tweet, because the first tweet might have been deleted. But I'm not entirely sure where this campaign started, because Help Turkey, the hashtag goes back about 4 days. It started at the end of July, and then it accelerated really yesterday, or the evening and the late evening of the 1st of August. So it peaked really at about midnight or 1 a.m. Turkish time on the 1st of August. Going into the 2nd of August. So, you know, we kind of know exactly when it really took off, but we don't exactly know who began it or who started it.
But you found out that a lot of tweets, like thousands of tweets, were tweeted in the same minute. Is that right?
Yeah, so the velocity of tweets, the velocity is the speed at which tweets are sent. And this is important for Twitter's algorithm because velocity, high velocity equals more likelihood of trending. And so many of these tweets and retweets happen in tight succession. And what this can mean, obviously this can happen in legitimate trends when something is just very popular. But what we tend to find with bot accounts as well is that sometimes they will retweet because they're programmed. They retweet in a very fixed pattern and in high volume. And there's evidence that this was happening. Another element that was very interesting and we tend to see is a lot of K-pop bot accounts, so Korean pop bot accounts, BTS fans or GOT7 fans, tend to get involved in a lot of these trends. Some of them are real, but a lot of these accounts are fake. So you do see a lot of Korean pop accounts spreading this information. And crucially, you know, you see just completely accounts that have completely nothing to do with Turkish politics or Turkey retweeting very specific content related to Turkey. And we tend to see a lot of this. These are sock puppet accounts, and often these are accounts that have been abandoned by the owner, hacked, and then sold to some agency or someone else. Or in some cases, agencies set up their own accounts over time. The trick is, it's harder and harder to identify bots because what happens now is agencies tend to use accounts that have been created over a period of 5 to 10 years. And this makes it harder to detect unusual spikes in account creation day. Because what used to happen is people who were setting up bots would just set up 2,000 accounts in 3 days. and that would be very easy to detect. Now it's better to use the accounts, real accounts that have been abandoned or sold or hacked to actually use, and then you just change the profile picture, change the name, and then Twitter's algorithm sees them as more genuine because they're older.
You have written tens of articles regarding digital activism or social media authoritarianism in Tunisia, Bahrain, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and now including Turkey. You have several studies. Tell us why this happens, what this type of campaigns aim at.
Well, these type of campaigns have different purposes. Some are straightforward. What you do if you manipulate social media, you're manipulating the thought or information diet available to people. If I can get, say, help Turkey trending to #1, then I'm exposing that message to millions of people who see it, just like you'd see a newspaper headline. It's the most salient piece of information. And what that does, it means more people are likely to see this, click on it, and see a specific message. So these are essentially influence campaigns that try to get people to act or behave in a specific way. Now, this is in its basic form just propaganda. When there's fake news involved, it's disinformation. However, one of the most dangerous things that we see is the use of this kind of manipulation to try and create divisions within society. Now, I think the Help Turkey campaign is a good example of it, because while some of those, or many of those involved, were obviously had presumably very good intentions, the reaction was such that whoever was creating some of that content was doing so in a way that was about encouraging outside involvement in Turkish affairs. And obviously the Turkish government and many who support it would have seen this as an oppositional act that was designed to make the Turkish government look bad. And then what that does, that creates divisions and conflict on social media. And we've seen this from Brexit, we've seen it in the US elections. We often see it with outside forces try to interfere in the public sphere, the kind of talking space of countries, in order to generate polarization. Because when you have polarization, this can create internal conflict, and internal conflict weakens states, right? So this is the ultimate goal of a lot of these information campaigns. They're designed not just to mislead people or spread a particular message, but also to be very divisive and create conflicts between people that are fundamentally designed to weaken civil society. So this is why we need to be vigilant, because now states do not have full control over their information space. The digital sphere is open for manipulation. And this is partly a problem. And there is a free speech issue here as well, but let's not forget, one of the issues we have here are social media companies are acting irresponsibly in markets. They want to capitalize, create a large user base in order to generate advertising revenue with minimal expenditure, because accountability means expenditure, content moderation means expenditure. So these companies that are often based in the US are making money off markets in the Middle East and elsewhere, but not actually investing enough or doing enough due diligence to make sure that those products are used in an appropriate way. So we need to actually think about this.
Okay, well, it is possible to agree with your arguments. You claim, you don't claim, you speak with some data that these kind of manipulative campaigns can act for another campaign's political targets. But in this case, there is a real situation that a lot of forests are burning still in Turkey, and Turkey is having now very difficult experience because these forest fires are in different locations and they're burning at the same moment. Naturally, it's not possible to catch everywhere on time, so it's a very difficult experience for Turkish government. I would ask you, did anyone from Turkey ask you to do this research for Help Turkey campaign?
No one told me. I mean, I just because I monitor social media so often, I look at unusual trends, the ones that stand out, and this one was just so huge with 2.7 million. And I follow plenty of people from the region who tweet about regional politics. So I just got interested in it, same as I got interested in
So this is your independent research?
Yeah, I'm independent. I wouldn't do research as requested by someone unless I felt that research was legitimate. And I certainly wouldn't want to do research on behalf of a state if I felt it would be misused. But the problem with this research is misused. People will use it to support their own specific arguments. Happened in Tunisia. People read selectively, and there's a growing problem now where disinformation analysis is then used to justify propaganda or other arguments, right? So tackling fake news has also been used as a weapon to spread disinformation. This is true of all information. People are selective. It's called the weaponization of context. People take things out of context and use it for their own ends.
Okay, Help Turkey campaign is not known in terms of who initiated this first, but you know it was a very big Twitter storm, as you said. But there's another campaign against that now. It's Strong Turkey. It was initiated by the Turkish government. Did you have chance to have a look for it?
I downloaded the data or downloaded some data. I haven't had time to analyze it. I mean, from what I saw briefly looking at, we see a lot of the same things that we see in Help Turkey. We see kind of accounts speaking in gibberish, not making sense. There's probably accounts involved that are trying to boost the particular message. What we tend to see in all these cases, especially if you have a trend that's designed to counter another trend, you will probably see manipulation. I would imagine that there is some form of manipulation going on from this hashtag too. This is how information wars work these days. It's a battle often of people who don't even exist to try and dominate or spread a particular message.
Okay, Professor Jones, thank you for your time. Marc Owen Jones has joined me from Hamad bin Khalifa University. Thank you for your time. Devam edelim. Efendim, kısaca bir özetleyelim. Doçent Doktor Marc Owen Jones, Hamad bin Khalifa Üniversitesi'nde Katar'da görev yapıyor. Akademisyen ve araştırmacı olarak neler söyledi? Çok hızlıca bir üzerinden geçeceğiz. Birincisi 2.7 milyon Help Turkey kampanyasına tweetler atıldığını söyledi. Bu sayı aniden ulaşıldığını ve gece yarısı 12-1 sularında bu tweetlerin atıldığını ve çok hızlı bir şekilde yoğunlaştığını, TT olduğunu, hızlı bir şekilde Help Turkey'in ve ünlülerin, fenomen hesapların, oyuncuların, aydınların, gazetecilerin çok hızlı bir şekilde buna destek olduğunu söyledi. 35.000 tweet aynı anda paylaşıldı. Bu da dikkat çeken bir ayrıntı. Diğer yandan farklı dillerde aynı tweetlerin çevrilmiş olarak hazır kullanıcılara sunulduğu ve kullanıcıların bu tweetleri kopyala yapıştır yaparak kendi hesaplarında paylaştığını tespit ettiğini söyledi. Bununla ilgili kendi sosyal medya hesabında hem ekran görüntülerini hem de çekmiş olduğu videoları görebilirsiniz. Kendisi 400.000 tweet'i tek tek incelediğini söyledi. Bu hesaplar fake hesaplar mı, bot hesaplar mı? Tıkladığında o hesap hala var mı, silinmiş mi, hesap adı değiştirilmiş mi? Bu gibi verilerden yola çıkarak bu kampanyanın özel bir şirket tarafından düzenlenen dijital bir kampanya olmasının ihtimaller dahilinde olduğunun altını çizdi. Elbette iyi niyetli bir kampanya olarak göründüğünü, sonuçta Türkiye bu anlamda aynı anda farklı noktalarda çıkan yangınlar nedeniyle zor durumda, bununla mücadele etmeye çalışıyor. Elbette insanlar da, aydınlar, ülkesini seven herkes bu etiketi tweet yazarak, paylaşımda bulunarak dünyaya, Türkiye'ye yardım edin çağrısında bulundu. Bunu da değerlendirmek lazım. Yani bu kötü bir şey mi? Dünyadan yardım istemek olumsuz bir şey mi? Tabii ki burada ülkenin imajı sarsılıyor diyenler oldu. Haklı bir eleştiri de olabilir. Ancak pek çok felaket yaşanıyor dünyada. Endonezya'da deprem olabiliyor, Pakistan'da sel olabiliyor, Latin Amerika'da farklı bir konu, Yunanistan'da yangın olduğunda aynı şekilde Türkiye'ye yardımcı olmak için teklifte bulunuyor, el uzatıyor. Şu anda Türkiye aynı durumda. Orman yangınlarıyla boğuşuyoruz. Ekipmanlar, teknik ekipmanlar yeterli değil. Yetersizden ziyade aynı anda yüzün üzerinde yangına yetişemiyor maalesef. Fakat burada problem şu, Doçent Doktor Marc Owen Jones'un söylediği gibi bu kampanyayı kimin başlattığı belli değil. Yani Güney Kore pop fanlarının bile bu kampanyaya kitlesel bir şekilde destek verdiği ve neticesinde Türkiye'den influencerların, sosyal medya fenomenlerinin ve şarkıcıların, ünlülerin, gazetecilerin, siyasetçilerin, muhalefet partisi destekçilerinin kitlesel bir şekilde yazdığını gördük. Problemli kısım bunu kimin başlattığının belli olmaması. Maksat nedir? Bir sivil toplum kuruluşu hareketi midir? Nasıl bu aşamaya gelindi vesaire bir netlik olmaması nedeniyle İletişim Başkanlığı ve diğer iktidar partisinin temsilcileri tarafından da uyarılarda bulunulmuştu. Buna karşın iktidar partisi de kendi kampanyasını Strong Turkey etiketiyle, güçlü Türkiye etiketiyle Help Turkey, Türkiye'ye yardım edin hashtagine karşı başlattı. Elbette orada da bot hesaplar görülebilecektir. Fake hesaplar oraya da hani tweet yapmak için, kampanyayı yukarıya taşımak için sosyal medyada etkin görülebilecektir. Fakat burada Profesör Jones'un altına çizdiği hususları aktarmaya çalıştık. Dediğimiz gibi kampanyayı kimin başlattığı belli değil. Şüpheli hareketler, farklı dillerde tweetlerin hazır olması, 35.000 tweetin aynı anda atılması, hesapların isimlerinin değiştirilmesi, çoğunun gerçek hesap olmaması, atılan tweetlerin silinmesi gibi pek çok kendisinin ifadesiyle şüpheli durum var. Bu anlamda TT'de gördüğünüz her etikete şüpheyle yaklaşın uyarısında bulundu. Hamad bin Halife Üniversitesi'nden Marc Owen Jones konuğum oldu. Teşekkürler izlediğiniz için. Hoşça kalın.